a house-to-house search of homes of foreigners. There is also tonight a demand for the positioning of a curfew with immediate effect from traditional authorities there. Already, the Regional Security Council has ordered the Ghana Immigration Service and the police to take an immediate inventory of all hotels and guest houses there. Landlords have also been ordered to inspect the resident permits of tenants not of Ghanaian origin, with some suspecting the murders may be part of a coordinated activity of foreign militant elements. Details of this unfolding security situation shortly. But first, we have the latest on the Aisha One story developing in the last few minutes. Well, we are learning tonight that fresh charges have just been filed against the Chinese Galamsey Queen Aisha One for offences committed between 2015 and 2017. My colleague Kojo Yang Singh has been working his sources on this and joins me with the very latest on this. Kojo, what more do we know?
Evans, what we're picking up from the Office of the Attorney General and the Ministry of Justice is that in respect of offences committed between 2015 and 2017, the Attorney General's office is now filing new charges against Aisha Wang. She was arraigned before the Criminal Division of the High Court, which was presided over by Justice Lydia Marfo. Now, this was a virtual hearing, which is becoming more and more common under the current Attorney General. And during this hearing, bail was denied for these new charges, which means the accused will be remanded into prison custody. Now, the case has been adjourned to the 11th of October 2022. That is the next time that Aisha Wang will be appearing before a court to answer to these new charges.
And do we have any more details on what these new charges are?
We are awaiting the detail of the specific charges, and we will certainly share them with everyone as soon as we receive them. As yet, we do not have the specific new charges, but we also know that the Attorney General will take over the docket from the National Security in respect of those offences committed this year, the offences with which she was charged when she was brought into court earlier this week.
And from what you're saying, it suggests that she may not have been in court herself today.
Well, it was a virtual hearing, so the parties would have appeared from their various locations. And we do have some details of the offences, the new charges, just coming through from our sources, Evans. So the first offence is undertaking a mining operation without a license, contrary to Section 99(2)(a) of the Minerals and Mining Act 2006, which is Act 703, as amended by the Minerals and Mining Amendment Act 2019, Act 995. Now, the particulars are as follows, that N. Huang, known as Aisha Huang, between February 2015 and May 2017, without a license from the minister responsible for mines, undertook mining operations at Bipotinting in the Amancia Central District of the Ashanti region. The second count is of facilitating the participation of persons engaged in a mining operation contrary to Section 99(2)(a) and 3 of the Minerals and Mining Act 2006, Act 703, as amended by the Minerals and Mining Amendment Act 2019, which is Act 995. Now, here are the particulars. Again, Aisha Wang, between February 2015 and May 2017, facilitated the participation of Gao Jin Cheng, Lu Ki Jun, Hai Bin Gao, and Zhang Jipeng in mining operations without a license from the minister responsible for mines to conduct the mining operations at Bipotinting in the Amancia Central District of the Ashanti region. The third count is of illegal employment of foreign nationals contrary to Section 24 of the Immigration Act 2000, which is Act 573. Here, she is accused of illegally employing 4 Chinese nationals, who I named earlier, Gao Jincheng, Lu Qijun, Hai Bin Gao, and Zhang Jipeng, to work at an illegal mining site in the Amancia Central District of the Ashanti region. The fourth count is of entering Ghana while prohibited from re-entry, contrary to Section 24 of the Immigration Act 2000, Act 573. And I think we're all quite interested in this particular one because of its recent relevance. Now, here, in stating the particulars of this offense, the accused is named as Nhuang, also known as Aisha, also known as Juan Rushia, okay, who is accused here on the 2nd of September 2022 that she was arrested in Kumasi and found to have re-entered Ghana when she knew she had been barred from entering Ghana. And these are the specifics of the charges brought to her for offenses committed between 2015 and 2017, Evans.
So four counts in all.
Yes.
4 counts in all. And this is a significant increase in the counts if you compare to the initial charges that were slapped on her when she appeared before the circuit court a couple of days back. In that case, she was slapped with engaging in a sale and purchase of minerals without valid license. And then also the count 2 was mining without license, contrary to Section 99.3 of the Minerals and Mining Amendments Act. In this latest case, you're learning there are 4 counts, including one related to re-entering Ghana when, of course, she was barred from doing so. Could you, for those who are just joining us, can you quickly run through these 4 charges that we now know that Attorney General has slapped on Aisha One in this latest case sent to the Criminal Division of the High Court?
Certainly, Evans. And, of course, the significant thing here is the timeline of these charges. These are offenses that she's alleged to have committed between 2015 and 2017. So she's accused, first of all, of undertaking a mining operation without a license, which is contrary to Section 99.2a of the Minerals and Mining Act 2006, Act 703, as amended by the Minerals and Mining Amendment Act 2019, which is Act 995. That's the first count. The second count is facilitating the participation of persons engaged in a mining operation contrary to Section 99.2a and 3 of the Minerals and Mining Act 2006, which is Act 703, as amended by the Minerals and Mining Amendment Act 2019, which is Act 995. Here, the 4 individuals are named as Gao Jincheng, Lu Qijun, Hai Bin Gao, and Zhang Zhipeng. The third count is of illegal employment of foreign nationals contrary to Section 24 of the Immigration Act 2000, which is Act 573. And this is in respect of the same 4 Chinese nationals named earlier. The final count is of entering Ghana while prohibited from re-entry, contrary to Section 24 of the Immigration Act 2000, which is Act 573.
Thank you very much, Kojo, for that. So if you're just joining us tonight, Aisha One has now been slapped with fresh charges, 4 of them. That immigration violation has been included in the charges. That's a 4th count, as you just heard Kojo explain there. And she was placed before the Criminal Division of the High Court virtually. She was again denied bail, from what we understand from Kojo's sources at the Attorney General's Department. And these charges were read. We don't know if her plea was taken, but she's been remanded to reappear later. So that's what we are learning tonight. The Attorney General, remember, last week had issued a statement committing to prosecute Aisha One for current and past offenses, which appears to be what we're now reading from the court document that has been filed now in terms of the charges. So the Attorney General is going ahead to prosecute her for that. She's going to stay now in prison custody. She's going to be in prison custody now until the 11th of October. The last time she was before the circuit court, she was adjourned to late September. But now that she's come before the Criminal Division of the High Court, she's going to be held in prison custody till the 7th of October, charged with 4 counts, including the violation of immigration prohibition from entering into the jurisdiction Ghana. As we all know now, she managed to sneak back in when she had been repatriated, according to the information minister. And still on the subject of the Galamsey fight, today the Ministry for Lands and Natural Resources is ramping up its Operation Halt 2. In a statement, the ministry declares the enforcement efforts will be pursued relentlessly without regard to any political, social, or economic standing of the persons involved. Bless is joining me right now with more on this. Bless. What else does the ministry say? I get the impression that there has been an emergency meeting of a sort with all the stakeholders on this in the last 24 hours.
That's right, Evans. That meeting happened today, and we're also getting a sense that there's a new coordinating committee following the recession of the Inter-Ministerial Committee Against Illegal Mining. You do recall that way back in 2018, that ministerial committee was set up, chaired by Charles Bisiu, who granted an interview on the matter yesterday. But after the meeting today, we're getting a sense that there's the Ministerial Coordinating Committee on Illegal Mining, and that's made up of the Deputy Chief of Staff at the Office of the President in charge of operations. There are 2 deputy ministers at the Ministry of Land and Natural Resources. And we also have a Deputy Minister for Local Government, Decentralization and Rural Development. We have the Chief Director of the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources, the Chief Executive Officers of the Minerals Commission and the Forestry Commission. And then we also do have the advisors on the Mines and Forestry ministry. Some coordinators there and technical directors working from within the ministry itself. So this is the new composition that is fighting illegal mining in the country.
What did they do? I understand they reviewed the fight so far, so to speak.
Precisely. And so excerpts of the document we have now, signed by the Sector Minister Samuel Abujinapo, indicates that after an extensive review of operations so far, it was agreed that, number 1, river bodies and forest reserves continue to be marked as red zones. Accordingly, no mining operation is permitted in and around any river body in the country. And when it comes to prospecting, exploration activities continue to be banned in forest reserves, except in exceptional circumstances. So that's the first directive. There's also Operation Halt, which is the military deployment tackling that on the ground. That operation will be ramped up, and its support to various measures will be implemented to clamp down on illegal mining. Point 3 is very instructive, Evans, because, mind you, the perception out there was that Aisha Huan is one of the big wigs. There are some personnel engaged or personalities engaged in illegal mining which the government is not able to touch. But the minister is assuring at point 3 that the enforcement this time round will be pursued relentlessly without regard to any political, social or economic standing of the persons involved in illegal mining. So this will be done transparently, with the highest standards of integrity, candor, and utmost good faith. So this is amongst a raft of measures, 8 of them that we're getting through from the Lands and Natural Resources Ministry. Now, when it comes to the missing excavators...
so that I noticed that was another subject
another
that this
issue
committee reviewed.
that came up.
What are they doing with these?
Point 4 explains that. It indicates that any equipment used in connection with illegal mining or products derived from illegal mining operations will be seized, and this time round it's not being handed over to the Inter-Ministerial Committee on Illegal Mining, but now it will be handed over to the Ghana Police Service in accordance with Section 99(8) of the Minerals and Mining Act 2006 at 703, as amended by the Minerals and Mining's Amendment
and
Act.
it's good, I must indicate, that you have somebody like Dampari in charge. You hand over to the police, you inform him that this police station has this, because they've been missing before.
Yeah, And there are signs of that, in fact, of how the police is committed to that. In the Elembele case,
yes,
you do recall.
The DC was arrested because they suspected that he was interfering.
And just days after, the 2 missing excavators were retrieved by the Ghana Police Service. So I guess it goes to the heart of the commitment we're getting from the sector minister at this point. There's also the indication at point 5.
But they're still going to destroy a few, right? That they can't move.
Well,
from everything I'm
that
reading
may happen
here.
because point 5 indicates that clearly, that when you have an equipment, because that was part of the explanations we got from the Elembele DC, that at the time they impounded the excavators within his area, they didn't find low beds to move them to the headquarters. So there's a provision within this directive to check that. So in the case where we have an equipment which cannot be moved from its location, the equipment, as we are learning now, will be demobilized or decommissioned to prevent it from being further used for illegal operations. And then the Ghana Police Service now will work closely with the military operation, which is Operation Hall 2, that we're learning of, that would then move forward and provide some relevant information in aiding prosecution of persons involved in illegal mining. So in all, the Ministry for Lands and Natural Resources is giving that assurance that they will first of all intensify education on the dire consequences of illegal mining, how it affects lives and livelihood of both current and future generations, as well as the environment that supports our existence. And that committee, in fact, their work is not conclusive, Evans, because they would meet from time to time, now that we are learning of them, to try and gather feedback and then inform the way forward.
Bless, thank you very much. You're still live on Top Stories on Joy 99.7 FM, bringing you the very latest in this war against illegal mining. And the latest, as far as that is concerned, is that the Attorney General's Department is now set to take over the case of Aisha Wan from the National Security, and has tonight filed fresh charges against them. 4 of them in total, now includes violation of immigration rules, that is her decision to sneak back in when she was forbidden from doing so because she had been repatriated and barred from entering the country. I want to now take you to the Upper West Regional Capital, Wa. Well, there have been protests there tonight. Why? Because the youth there are incensed after a 7th person was murdered in as many weeks, forcing youth there, of course, to hit the streets, demanding a house-to-house search of homes of foreigners. My Upper West regional correspondent will join us pretty shortly, but listen to the residents.
What we are demanding from the chief is that a thorough search should be done, and that thorough search should be inside in each and every foreigner's house, especially the foreigners that have built their houses and kept strong security in them. Those Igbos around want volunteers to enter into each and every foreigner house and search it. Especially the missing was the security men. We believe strongly that they are in those houses. And if you get into those houses, we'll bring them out, especially West Central. And most of the times, it's only the security that are being killed. First, one was killed. We didn't know the whereabouts of that particular person. Then on and on, we heard that they went to use a block and stoned one, who is still currently at the hospital. Then now, another one was also killed and was even taken away. That's at the Star Standard. Yes. Star Standard. And today, as we speak to you right now, we are bringing all all those against this thing that was in us. We are bringing it out today because of the killing that is also happening in what right now. And we are coming to what chief to tell him that he should give us a chance. We will go inside each and every foreigner house, especially those of the foreigners that are saying that we can't enter their houses. Why is our own? We are in what this has never happened to us before. This is the first time this is happening. And we are telling them today, they should give us the chance. We'll go in and set them, and we'll bring it and everything out.
Rafiq Salam joins us on the telephone line right now from the Upper West Regional Capital. Wow, Rafiq, so what triggered this latest protest?
It started like a storm in a teacup following the revelation that a middle-aged man who is from Congo and who is a security man around the War Technical Institute was suspected to have been murdered around the War Technical Institute. And so the youth, upon hearing this issue, they quickly gathered and headed straight to the One House Palace because they are saying that this is the 7th one in 5 months and it's becoming one too many.
And this latest murder was discovered when? This today?
It was discovered today. Remember, a couple of days ago, another security man. For now, we can't say whether he's dead or alive because it's storyline has always been the same. Because these are security men who goes to work in the night. The next morning, their relatives, their family members wait for them. They are not coming. And so they will quickly come to their workplaces and they wouldn't get them. But they are seeing traces of blood stains dotted all over at the compound. It happens around the Star Standard Academy and also at the War Technical Institute. You can see blood stains dotted all over from where the people or where they work are security men. And so for them, their suspicion has always been that they have been murdered for ritual purposes.
And we hear the youth say they want to be allowed to go and do a house-to-house search of homes of foreigners. Why is that? Why are foreigners being targeted?
For them, they think that Wa is a small community, about, say, 200,000 people. Wa forms about 1/10 of the region's population. And the influx of foreigners, they think that is not the behavior of the people from our. Because the last time we have recorded an incident like this, it was somewhere around the mid-80s when that incident occurred. But now this is something that they are hearing for the first time. For the thing that the indigents, everybody knows the other, everybody is related to the other. For them, they think that even if it is the indigents who are doing that, but it should be a connivance of foreigners. For them, they think that there are a lot of foreigners who are now in war doing legitimate business, and some for them, they also believe that they are not doing legitimate business. They think that they are doing nefarious activities. So they want to be allowed to go into these houses of foreigners and search for these missing persons.
And Rafiq, this attention on foreigners and the suspicion that some foreign militants group may have sneaked in and doing this deliberately appears to have been reinforced by the Regional Security Council itself. They had an emergency Regional Security Council meeting a couple of days back, 48 hours ago, and they came out with a detailed statement. I want to read a few of the points that they announced. One, that unregistered motorcycles within the one municipality shall be arrested and prosecuted, and also that landlords within the municipality must inspect resident permits of tenants not of Ghanaian origin. It says the municipal assembly must invite all landlords to a meeting. It is unacceptable for any landlord to rent accommodation to a tenant without knowing the tenant's background. And it says the Ghana Immigration Service and the Wa Municipal Assembly must take an inventory of all hotels and guest houses within the municipality. The police command must intensify police patrols and visibility in the municipality. All tricycles must halt movement or operations within the municipality at 9 p.m. and resume operations at 5 p.m. All institutions and workplaces are encouraged to install CCTV cameras within their compounds and improve their lighting. Ghana Immigration Service should furnish the Wa Municipal Assembly with updated information on all registered foreigners residing and doing business in the municipality. So, Rafiq, you read that and it's clear that even at the Regional Security Council level, there is strong suspicion that what is happening may be the result of the activities of foreigners.
If as you have been to Wa on a lot of occasions, and you know how Wa is like. Wa is a small place, a small enclave where everybody knows the other, and so they know where you work, they know where you stay, and so the suspicion has risen as a result of what is these things that are happening. But you know, when I spoke to some of the Ari group, they consider that yes, these are measures taken by the Upper West Wrexham. But I think that this is a knee-jerk approach, especially the cases of motor or tricycles. They are thinking that in war, now there are a lot of new cars that are in town and they're using DVA numbers. They are not registered cars. And so they think that these cars should also be included so that they should be checked properly. That's what the people are saying. But also tomorrow, the overlord of the Walla traditional area, now for the people, is meeting all chiefs and also landlords from the Walla municipality. So tomorrow's meeting is also coming up.
And you talk about this meeting that Awana is having, and already we understand from his spokesperson that their demand is the imposition of a curfew. This is his spokesperson earlier today.
Tomorrow morning, His Majesty the Overlord has invited every subordinate chief, every chief under his jurisdiction to come alongside their F-priests, the Tendamba, so that they look seriously again into this canker that has befallen our dear society. And then he as well wants to call on the Honorable Regional Minister and the members of the Regional Security Council to take steps to get the Honorable Minister for the Interior to impose a curfew on Wa and its immediate environs with effect from today. And then also to get the number 10 Mechanized Battalion stationed in Wa here to get onto the streets and all corners and sections of the township to help the police in doing night patrols of our town, so that in the long run our peace and security would be restored.
Rafiq, from what I read in the Regional Security Council statement, there appears to be some kind of a curfew already. If you drive a tricycle, for example, you kind of move from 9 p.m. Until 5 p.m. And then also we're talking about unregistered motorcycles also. Are these being enforced?
Yes, it started somewhere around yesterday. And then if you go to the police station now, there are several motorbikes, several tricycles that were arrested overnight. But the worry of the people is that, yes, day in, day out, these tricycles and also unregistered motorbikes are being arrested. But what happens to them again? The next 2 days, 3 days, they are back to the community. And so that's really the worry. But also, talking about the issue of our curfew, these are poo-pooed the suggestions of the Walla Overlord, and they're thinking that though the issue is of great concern to them, but I think that it hasn't gotten to the issue of curfew because it is happening at one particular area, the Kokuru Enclave, and all these things that are happening in the municipality are happening around the south-western end of which is usually the entertainment hub of the municipality. And so they are thinking that it's happening at one side, and at least they can keep vigil over this issue, not talking about a curfew for the people.
Rafiq, thank you very much for that. We'll get the thoughts of security analyst Alan Bonner pretty shortly, who's joining us on the telephone line right now. Mr. Bonner, I'm grateful for your time here on Top Story.
Thank you for having me, Evans.
And thankfully, we are hearing now from the chairman of the Municipal Security Council, Honorable Tahiru, who himself is now being frank about the security situation there. He says that they have a logistical challenge because they simply do not have enough men to police this besieged capital.
I'm just returning from the community where this particular, the man who is involved in this particular incident today, hails from. We went there to meet the family. We also met with the chief of the community and all opinion leaders, especially including the youth and then assembly member representative of that community. We appeal to them to exercise restraint, give time and a space for us as Municipal Security Council to handle the matter, as we have already came out with strategies and plans to contain the situation within the municipality. We met as a municipal security council. We took certain decisions and we communicated same to the regional security council, for which I'm also a member. The regional security council endorses our strategy, and they've also added some to it. And then we have started to roll them out for safety of the people within the municipality. As regards the content of the petition sent to the one, I'm not privy to it. But then the concerns from the youth is that they are not safe. There are issues and beyond the control of security within the municipality. But we also keep assuring them that they are safe until these issues start coming up. I mean, the security situation in the municipality was okay, it was perfect, and thievery, stealing, and other things were on the record low within the municipality. But this issue started coming up like that. And because it's a novel issue in the municipality, the scale at which these issues are coming up is beyond, what we anticipated or what we think we know of. So, and it is not something that is known within the municipality. So it will take time for us, to unravel the mystery behind all these things. However, precautionary measures are being taken and preventive measures are also being taken so that we can protect the people whilst we work around the corner to unravel the people behind these heinous crimes and murders within the municipality.
The aspect about foreigners involved in all of this, do you have any sense that may be the case? I mean, looking through the reports from the intelligence community.
Well, one thing that made it very difficult for me to, entirely accept the perception that foreigners are involved in this is the fact that, today, these issues, nobody has been able to come out with any concrete evidence to suggest that a particular foreigner is involved in this matter. Everyone is saying this, or these allegations are being made on the back of the fact that Wa used to be a small community and a municipality, but now it has become a cosmopolitan area where we have so many people, foreigners and other people settling within the municipality. I'll let you know that one municipality holds about 1/3 of the regional population of this region. So you expect to have all sorts of people with different shapes of behavior and character. So I cannot rule out the fact that foreigners are not involved in that. But who is a foreigner in this case? You see, we know, and I believe that no relative will have the courage to go out and then subject his relative to death. So definitely somebody who is not related to the victims probably will be embarking on that, or probably will have hands in this.
So that's AMC for the Upper West Regional Capital, Wada. And an interesting point he makes there, he says it's difficult for him to accept that there's foreigners involved. However, his boss, the regional minister, who's the chairman of the Regional Security Council, signs a statement 48 hours ago where a lot of the measures that the Emergency Regional Security Council resolved to undertake as part of measures to deal with this crisis was targeted at dealing with the suspicion of foreigners involved, including immigration being ordered in collaboration with the assemblies to take an inventory of all guest houses and hotels, looking at what foreigners may be there. Landlords have also been instructed to inspect the resident permits of foreigners, etc. Mr. Bona, I mean, this is a pretty intriguing development there in the Upper West Regional Capital. You've seen the documents, you've listened to the concerns. What's your reading of the situation?
Well, good evening, Evans. What I can say would be that for the indigenous residents in what you call the municipal capital, the capital of the African, they would have to calm down. It's important to calm down, allow the security to perform the function of investigating this matter. If you look at the number of people who have died through this gory, suspicious manner, it is some night watchmen who are usually, hired to provide security for some private schools, largely. And so we might have a serial killer on the loose. It is so easy to point accusing fingers to foreigners. Probably there is somebody out there who might be an indigenous person, in the Upper West or in Wa, who is doing this. And so they shouldn't narrow it down and begin to target foreigners, and before you realize, begin to beat up foreigners they come across. That will be improper. So they should leave that squarely in the hands of the security agencies to do their core work. I am also informed this evening that 350 police officers have been dispatched this evening, and they are heading to the Upper West. They are heading to Wa. I'm sure that will help in reinforcing and ensuring that adequate security is provided in the Wa municipal, in the capital. I want them to calm down. I'm told. I'm also reliably informed the IGP himself seems to be heading there probably towards next week, or probably within the weekend towards the next week. I think the Interior Minister is also leaving town and heading there, I am told, this weekend. So it tells you that a lot of attention has been drawn to the Upper West, and therefore they should allow cool heads to reign instead of threatening they are going to march house to house to drag out foreigners. There is no proof that this is done by any foreigner. There is no proof. And so that those who are running shops and are foreigners are those who are doing it. I would plead with them. I returned from Wa just about 10 days ago, and I would say that it's been largely very peaceful, and they shouldn't do anything that will mar the growth of the region. We've just had commercial flights now going into the region, and for investment to go there, the region would have to be very peaceful. And so any attempt to beat up foreigners and close up their shops, I would say, will not be in the interest of anybody in the region. Even though this is a serious security challenge, they should leave it at the doorstep of the security. Those who have information, I believe, should give it to the security agencies there to probably investigate and find those who are behind this.
And on this note of foreigners, there's a lot of hints in the Regional Security Council statement, is it not, about where they are focusing in terms of the people of interest. It appears to be foreigners themselves. They are confirming that, and so that may possibly feed into this suspicion that the youth may have.
If you ask me, I would say without any hesitation that it looks like the release by the Regional Security Council was largely rushed, because then there is no proof that this is done by foreigners. Therefore, signing such a statement is as if you are confirming that this has something to do with foreigners, and therefore let's go after foreigners. What if it is not a foreigner? What if people begin to attack foreigners? And so mine is that the regional security, I think I would go with the Wala Traditional Council's request that there should be a curfew, because I have picked intel that some young people are likely to go from house to house and go from shop to shop that's, owned by foreigners. And, the statement by the Regional Security Council might be, an antidote. Might be one of the things that is fueling, this demand by the young people that it could be a foreigner. Why do they think it's a foreigner? I am from the region. I don't want to believe it's a foreigner. Looking at what is going on, there could be a serial killer on the loose. They should allow the security agencies to broaden the scope of the investigations instead of narrowing it down to foreigners. It is easy to point accusing fingers to the guy who doesn't speak your language and the guy who doesn't come from your region and say, this is a problem, this is a problem. Meanwhile, it could be one of our own people from the region who is doing this. So they should just allow investigations to finish. And the other aspect of where I think in the release somewhere, it looks like some people are alleging could be terrorists who are doing this. Well, everything is possible. I'm not going to rule out and say it's not a foreigner, it's not an indigenous person from the region, and I can't say it's not a terrorist who some terrorists have invaded. But the most important thing is to allow the security agencies. Like I told you, let me reiterate, that 350 police officers have been dispatched this evening, and they are heading to the region. From this evening to tomorrow morning, they would have been arriving. Bus load of officers will be arriving, and I'm sure they will begin to man all checkpoints and all that. But if you go into the one municipality, in the night, the whole place is so dark. The whole place is so dark. It's not lit. It's so important that those who manage, the electricity, call it street lights in the region, take, these things very serious. Because then the truth is that it is difficult to identify someone you even know if you find yourself in some of the streets in the municipality. Most street lights are usually off in the night, which is not good. Areas that don't have them, they should improve security in those areas in terms of lightning. These are some of the measures that I would call for in the short term. As in the medium term, I think that the measure of trying to ask every foreigner to register, wanting to know who is coming in, is a very good measure, if they can sustain it. Then in the long term, I think that I am hearing that a large number of officers have been moved out of the region in the last 2 years, and they didn't, police officers, and probably there were no replacements. I would appeal to the police and say, if they are sending 350, as I'm hearing, I think we need permanent police officers to be stationed in the region so that, this will be a long-term measure with regards to dealing with the security challenges going forward, Evans.
Adam Bona, thank you very much. A man from his own region, his regional capital, where tonight is the subject of some concern, some security concern tonight, as a seventh person has been killed. In the region, sparking protests by the youth who are demanding to go house to house in search of foreigners they believe may be behind the killings. We keep a close eye on that unfolding, developing story here on Joy 99.7 FM. And we started off with the latest breaking news story on the Aisha One issue, with the filing of fresh charges. And indeed, with all that has happened this week, it's just perfect to bring in our citizens now for a conversation on Ghana Connect.
I've seen Gallup stuff. I haven't seen it being used. Why have we spent money on it and then we've actually put it somewhere? Then maybe I caused financial loss to the state.
The Attorney General took my client away from the court. The next thing I heard the next day was that my client had been flown out of Ghana back to China or wherever. Today we are being told in the court that she sneaked out of Ghana, which is false. A blatant untruth.
I'm not still sure whether she was in fact deported or whether she fled the country the first time and has now come back. But whatever, there still seems to be some uncertainty about it.
And this has been the controversy this entire week, and it's ending to this Friday with fresh charges against Aisha One. She really started this conversation, restarted this conversation, ignited it when it comes to the Galamsey fight. We've heard a lot this week about the fight about Aisha One herself, but let's focus a bit on her and what she means for the fight. Ghanaians home and abroad are connecting tonight to have a conversation, to explore. We talk about the solutions, what citizens can contribute to this war against illegal mining here on Ghana Connect.